Welcome to Christopher George, the solution series. I'm the man with a plan. Not left, not right, not red or blue. This is about what's right. And what we do, Harlot integrity driven. Standing for this land, real leadership for all America. No parties, no games, no smoke, no spin. Real talk, real vision. Let's begin.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Christopher George, the Solution Series. Today's episode I call The Spine, Putting the Back into America. I will break this exciting new vision down step by step, aligning each initiative, clarifying who fits where, defining the responsibilities behind every piece, and showing how this bold new structure can begin coming to life in the real world. What you're seeing is more than a powerful image. It's the framework of something new. As promised, no speeches, no slogans, just the plan and the vision. To everyone tuning in for the first time, welcome and thank you for being here. Thank you for giving me a piece of your time, your attention, and your willingness to hear something different. That means a lot to me. And to my returning listeners, welcome back. By now, you already know. You're more than an audience to me, your family, and I'm grateful we're still building together. Before we get into today's discussion, I want to take a minute to set expectations. If you've heard this before, this is a good time to grab a cup of coffee. If you haven't, this opening matters because it explains how I approach leadership, solutions, and this platform. Here's the standard. Leadership isn't just talking. Leadership isn't just pointing out what's wrong. Leadership comes prepared with a plan and the courage to talk about it openly. The plan I bring isn't rigid. It's strong enough to move us forward and flexible enough to improve through focused conversation, because the best plan will always be the one shaped by the most thoughtful input. That's the expectation here. This space is for discussion, but discussion with a purpose. If you engage, be direct. Be respectful. Focus your energy on the plan. If you see a flaw, bring a fix. If you have a what if, bring a solution with it. Noise doesn't move us, guys. Thoughtful contribution does. This podcast is about America, but it's not limited to America. We live in a connected world. Many of the solutions discussed here can be applied anywhere people are working to build stability, dignity, and opportunity. My goal is to help America lead again, not by force, but by example, so others can adapt what works for their own communities. And let me be clear about something I believe deeply. I believe there's always a nugget of truth in experience and insight. In every person, there's something valuable, something learned, something earned, something seen from a perspective no one else has. That's why I welcome everyone to the table. Because without you, there is no us. And without shared experience, there is no progress. But with that welcome comes responsibilities. Those insights and experiences are meant to build, not tear down, to strengthen ideas, not sabotage them, to move us closer to solutions, not deeper into division. Our tools are more powerful than they've ever been. Our ability to build and our ability to destroy. That means we have a responsibility to do better, to think deeper, to lead smarter, and to work towards peace that works for everyone, not just a few. This is about evolution. Evolution as a country, evolution as a people, evolution as a world. That's the expectation, guys. That's the standard. Now let's get to work. So imagine a country where everything feels connected only when it breaks. So let me say that again. Imagine a country that only feels connected when everything breaks. That seems to be where we are right now. A storm hits one region and the whole supply chain feels it. A drought hits another region and food prices rise everywhere. Sounds familiar? A wildfire burns through California and smoke, insurance costs, emergency response, housing pressure, and national attention all move with it. An airport shuts down and families, workers, businesses, and entire travel networks start backing up across the country. A city floods while another city begs for water. A state burns while another state drowns. Food is grown in abundance in one region while another community has children living in food deserts. Plastic piles up in landfills, rivers, oceans, and neighborhoods while people sleep outside without durable sheltering. We have empty land, wasted materials, aging infrastructure, crowded airports, stressed water systems, rising power demands, and communities that have been left behind for so long that poverty has become part of the landscape, people. That's where we are. Not because America lacks intelligence, not because America lacks resources, not because America lacks workers, not because America lacks land, water, technology, or imagination. We are here because too many of our systems were built separately, managed separately, funded separately, protected separately, and allowed to fail separately. We keep trying to fix the body one limb at a time, but the body needs a spine, people. What you're looking at is a concept I created called the spine. And before anyone looks at this map and says, that is too big, let me say this clearly. Do not think for 1 minute that I do not understand the complexity of what I'm showing you. I understand this is massive. I understand this would be expensive. According to GPT, this is probably the largest engineering construction in United States history. I understand this will require engineers, planners, water experts, transportation experts, energy experts, environmental specialists, construction teams, legal minds, public-private coordination, and the level of national organization we have not shown in a long time. I understand all that. But here's the point. What the hell else are we doing? What the hell else are we supposed to be doing if we ain't trying to build for a future? And most of what I'm talking about is not magic. Most of what I'm researching is based on things that have already been done somewhere in the world, tested somewhere in the world, or being seriously developed somewhere in the world. So the real question is not simply, can it be done? The real question is, do we want it done? Do we want to keep reacting to collapse? Or do we want to start building towards recovery? Do we want to keep arguing about infrastructure while bridges age, water systems fail, fires grow, cities flood, power demands explodes, and people sleep outside? Or do we want to start thinking like a serious nation again? And yes, I know the cost will be extreme, but I also believe we need to stop waiting on government money as the only answer. I believe we can limit our dependence on government by building a transparent national movement around phased development, public visibility, entertainment-driven fundraising, private participation, investor support, community involvement, and clear price tags attached to clear pieces of the bill. Tell people what phase we are building. Tell people what it costs. Tell people where the money goes. Show them the result. Then let America have a good time helping build America. Concerts, events, sports, film, public figures, artists, athletes, community, people with resources, people with energy, people with skills, people who are tired of watching a country fall apart while everybody argues over who gets credit. This does not happen overnight. But what else are we supposed to be doing? I got a plan. This is the plan. If we are not here to better this country, then what are we here for? Honestly. When you look at this map, I don't want you to think of it as just infrastructure. I want you to think of it as a human body. In the human body, the spine is not just a stack of bones. The spine is a central support system. It holds the body upright. It connects the brain. It supports movement. It carries signals. It allows arms, legs, organs, muscles, and nervous system to work together. When the spine is strong, the body can move with power and coordination. When the spine is damaged, everything else suffers. That is how I want you to look at this map. This is not just a transportation map. This is not just a water map. This is not just an energy map. This is not just a poverty plan. This is not just a farming idea. This is an attempt to create a working backbone for America, a national integrated support system where water, food, power, transportation, housing, recycling, AI infrastructure, fire defense, and community transformation are not treated as separate problems anymore. They are connected. They communicate. They support each other. They create each other. They stabilize together. They provide opportunity together. That is the core idea of the spine. create, stabilize, provide opportunity. That's simple. America has attempted versions of a national spine before. The interstate highway system helped connect the country. Rail helped build the country. Pipelines, power lines, ports, airports, and waterways all became pieces of national movement. But those systems were not truly integrated. The head could move the feet, but the arms might not know what the legs were doing. Water moved one way, power moved another way, people moved another way, food moved another way. Housing was handled somewhere else. Poverty was treated somewhere else. Disaster response came after the damage. That is not enough for the future. The spine I'm talking about works more like the body. Everything is connected. Water moves, people move, food moves, power moves, materials move, data moves, maintenance moves, opportunity moves. And wherever water goes, food production can open up. Wherever water goes, controlled solar farming can exist. Wherever water goes, aquaponics can operate. Wherever water goes, communities can stabilize. Wherever water goes, land can begin to heal. That is why this map starts with water, because everything starts with water. Like I said, life starts with water. Community starts with water. Food starts with water. Energy depends on water. Industry depends on water. Human survival depends on water. So when I talk about the spine, I do not start with the Hyperloop, the high-speed train. I do not start with transportation. I do not start with the technology. I start with water. How many times I got to tell you guys this? Because I'm doing this for a reason. Water, water, water. Because we're at that point right now. If we don't get this stuff straight, it's going to cause some serious problems. Because water is the immediate threat. We're watching different parts of this country face different water disasters at the same time. Some places are flooding. Some places are burning. Some places are drying out. Some places are fighting over access. And now we're adding new pressure. Massive AI data centers being planned and built across the country with no vote. That is a real problem because data centers need power and many of them need major cooling systems. If we are not careful, AI infrastructure will compete directly with water needs of people, farms, and communities. Let's get something straight. I am not against AI. I use it every day. I love it. I'm not against data centers. I'm not against technology. I'm saying we need to stop building the future in a way that drains the people who have to live in it. That is why the spine begins with water. The offshore freshwater platforms, the feed of the system, that's what I call them, the feed system. It's where the spine begins. These platforms are designed to convert seawater into freshwater, generate energy, support food production, expand coastal science, strengthen ocean research, and feed the inland network. On the map, these offshore platforms sit off the East Coast, West Coast, and Gulf Coast. I envision 3 off the East Coast, 2 in the Gulf, and 4 on the West Coast. The job is simple in concept, even if complex in execution. Take the ocean's abundance, convert part of it to usable fresh water, generate power through solar, wave, tidal, wind, and ocean current systems, support ocean science, coastal monitoring, marine research, and reef restoration. Then move that fresh water inland through the spine. That is the feed system. Because if water is life, then the spine has to begin where water is the most available, the ocean. But I do not see these platforms as single-purpose structures. That would be old thinking. If we're going to build offshore infrastructures, it should serve multiple missions at once. These platforms become freshwater production sites, power generation sites, coastal science stations, marine observation points, food production support systems, reef enhanced systems, hoteling for cruise line systems. We could put hotels in these things. The sky's the limit. Offshore casinos. We could do whatever we want because we have the ability to do that. We just got to make it make sense. And where fresh water moves inland, food opportunity follows. That is one of the most important rules of the spine. Where water goes, food can grow. And now when I say indoor farming, I want to be clear. I'm not talking about the standard image of a sealed warehouse or plants depend on artificial lights all day. I'm talking about the controlled solar agriculture. That means enclosed growing facilities that use sunlight as the primary light source. through clear panels, solar integrated building materials, greenhouse style design. Artificial lighting is used when needed, at night, during low conditions, or for crop cycle support. So the goal is not to replace the sun. The goal is to control the environment around the sun. Get rid of the pesticides. That changes the equation. These controlled solar food facilities could be built along the freshwater pipeline routes. Wherever the spine moves water, we can create new food production opportunities. Leafy greens, herbs, root crops, aquaponic systems, fish, poultry, seedlings, and emergency food reserves. The offshore platforms feed the pipelines feed the farms feed the people. And if we template the system correctly, every major water corridor becomes more than a water corridor. It becomes a food corridor, an energy corridor, a research corridor, and a restoration corridor. These platforms can also help improve coastal environments if designed responsibly. They can support reef building structures, artificial reef enhancement, marine habitat protection, aquaculture research, and ocean life monitoring. Instead of building offshore systems that only take from the ocean, we should design them to give something back. We really need to be the caretakers of this planet, which we were designed to be. That is the larger philosophy. Freshwater production, power generation, food support, marine science, coastal protection, reef restoration, inland farming, national resilience, all tied into one system. Now, some people immediately say, desalination is expensive. Yes, it is. It can be. But water shortage is expensive too. It's deathly. Drought is expensive. It's deathly. Fire is expensive. It's deathly. Flood damage is expensive. It's deathly. Food insecurity is expensive. It's deathly. Mass migration caused by environmental pressure is expensive. Broken infrastructure is expensive. Doing nothing is not free. Doing nothing is just the most expensive bill we refuse to calculate. The offshore platforms are not just where the spine begins. They are where water, energy, food, science, and restoration start working together. Now, while I'm out in the ocean, I'm gonna stay in the ocean for a second for my next introduction piece, which is we go directly to the AI infrastructure, and this is what I call OceanCore comes in. OceanCore is my answer to the current AI data center problem. Right now, we're watching planned data centers rise across the country, and many of them are being placed on land, near communities, near power grids, and sometimes near already stressed water systems. That's not smart enough. If AI is going to become part of the national future, then AI infrastructure needs to be designed with water, power, cooling, land use, and community impact in mind. That is why I created OceanCore, the OceanCore concept. Instead of continuing to build massive inland data centers that compete with people for water and power, OceanCore looks offshore. Use the ocean for cooling support. Use offshore energy. Use a smaller land footprint. Move some of the AI burden away from inland communities. And we should also study other formats, underground data centers, silo-style data centers, vertical data centers, smaller footprint facilities, earth-cooled facilities, water-assisted cooling systems. The point is not that one structure solves every problem. The point is that we need better options. We need to stop acting like the answer to AI is to drain everybody's water just because we can. That is not innovation. That's bullying. That is and that doesn't have the people answer. That has people nowhere in the answer. That is a short-sightedness dressed up as progress. OceanCore says there's another way. If you look at the blue lines on the map, those represent the pipelines, which are key also. Because now we move to the blue lines, and I want to make this clear. The blue lines are the key to the whole map. The Hyperloop is exciting, of course. When I talk about that, that's going to be exciting. The AI platforms are exciting. Oh, yeah, they're exciting. The offshore systems are exciting. Yeah, this looks like some Star Wars stuff. But the blue lines, the water pipelines, the CUSP network, the movement backbone, that is where the country starts becoming connected. The blue lines are everywhere because water has to be everywhere. And they just don't just tell me something. They represent a system designed to move water, people, resources, and power. Inside that blue system, I want turbines running wherever possible. Water moves, turbines capture energy. Pressure changes, energy is recovered. Elevation changes, gravity helps produce power. Solar power pumps and movement where needed. Closed loop water movement may even create opportunities where solar energy moves water through a loop, and that movement helps generate turbine energy back into the system. This is a concept we need to explore seriously. Not because every section will produce the same amount of energy, not because every part would be perfect, but because the principle matters. Capture energy at every moment of possible. Water movement, gravity, pressure, flow, solar, wind, motion, heat. Even the Hyperloop should be studied for energy recovery. If something is moving, we should be asking, can we capture something from it? Can we recover something? Can we stack one energy source onto another? This is not about one miracle machine. This is about designing the whole system so nothing is wasted. That is the spine. We see the orange lines. Now we get into the Hyperloop. I call those are the Hyperloop corridors. Now we get to the orange lines. The orange lines represent those corridors, the high-speed movement layer of the spine. America needs another serious option for long-distance travel. Right now, air travel carries too much weight, and we really got a knife at our neck with air travel. I ain't gonna lie. The planes are ugly. The seats are uncomfortable, and they don't plan on changing it. Why? Why would you change it if it's working? Oh, for the people? Yeah, you're right. When the system works, it works. But when it fails, the whole country fails. We've all seen the delays, cancellations, ground stops. Weather, I even got a design for a new plane, guys, and you're going to love it. The weather disruptions, staffing problems, airport congestion, the ripple effect where one failure in one region can disrupt travel across the country. And this is bigger than inconvenience. Because when travel breaks down, business slows down, families miss moments, workers miss opportunities, supply chains are affected, tourism suffers, emergency movement becomes harder. The country becomes more fragile than it should be. That is why high speed ground transportation matters. Not because it replaces air travel completely, but because America needs redundancy. Redundancy. America needs options. America needs a transportation system that does not put so much pressure on airports alone. Other countries have already shown that high-speed ground transportation can be safe, disciplined, and reliable when designed and maintained properly. Japan's Shinkansen is not a hyperloop, but it proves the larger point. When a nation takes high-speed ground travel seriously, separates it from slower traffic, maintains it with discipline, and operates it as a national priority, it can become one of the safest and most reliable transportation systems in the world. That is the mindset America needs. Not just safer transportation, better transportation, safer transportation, more reliable transportation, transportation that connects people to opportunity without forcing everything through the same overlaid air system. In the spine, the Hyperloop is not just a luxury line between major cities. It is part of a national mobility system. It moves people, it moves workers, it moves resources. It supports tourism, it supports emergency response, it supports food distribution, it supports the ELE-VOLUTIon Nodes. It helps Americans see more than their own country. And if something that large is moving, then we should study how to recover energy from that movement. Braking energy, pressure systems, solar collection along the corridor, motion recovery, support systems tied into the broader spine, because the principles remain the same. If it moves, it should contribute. The orange lines are about speed, but more than that, they're about giving America another way to move. Now we get to the human part of the map. The icons across the country represent low-income transformation sites. Lit me, which stands for lit. But with the spine, lit becomes more than a local program. It becomes part of the national support system. Along the spine, I envision what I call ELE-VOLUTIon nodes, not camps, not projects, not old style government housing, not forgotten zones. ELE-VOLUTIon nodes. These are productive communities built along the spine to support infrastructure and benefit from it. Each node could include metamaterial recycling facilities, controlled solar food facilities, aquaponic fish systems, bioenergy waste conversion, lit housing production, solar integrated buildings, AI monitored operations, training centers, and that will include spine maintenance teams. These evolution nodes would be responsible for they could be responsible for maintaining large portions of the spine. They can use those recycling facilities to remove the fat to manufacture their own materials in their own communities, housing to include it. The food facility becomes a nourishment engine. The bioenergy facility becomes the waste to power loop. The housing facility becomes a lit solution. So now homelessness is not only treated as a shelter problem, it becomes a systems problem. People need shelter, yes, but they also need food, training, work, mobility, health support, community, purpose, a place to restart, a way to move, a way to contribute. The evolution nodes create that starting point. They allow people to help feed themselves, help build housing, help maintain the spine, help support food movement, help support travel, help support reforestation, help support resort and hotel corridors, help support national service. This is like a domestic peace course on steroids. And think of it like that. A system where Americans can move along the spine, work along the spine, train along the spine, travel along the spine, and help maintain the country instead of just living in it. People with money can also can travel too. Hotels, resorts, tourism, scenic routes, national parks. This will open up the United States to the people in a way that it's never been open and make it comfortable. Some of these evolution nodes could become, part-time Airbnb housing, so people can get out more into the United States and see more. Cultural loops, work travel programs. America's beautiful. People need to see more of it, not just fly over it, not just argue about it. See it, work in it, build in it, understand its history, maintain it, love it again, not just try to use it. Now that I walked you through the colors on the map, the water, the transportation, the offshore platforms, the AI infrastructure, the fire corridors, and the major connection points, I don't want to leave you with just a colored map, because this is not just about lines. This is not just about symbols. This is not about creating something that looks impressive on a screen. The colors only show you the structure. Now we have to talk about what the structure makes possible. Because once the spine exists, it becomes more than infrastructure. It becomes a platform for national transformation. This is where innovation consolidate, what I call innovation consolidation, comes in. To me, it means taking the tools, technology, and material ideas and systems that already exist or already being developed and bringing them together under one coordinated framework. Like I said before, water, food, energy, transportation, housing, recycling, biogas, metamaterials, AI monitoring, controlled solar agriculture, wildlife recovery, forest management, fire defense, community rebuilding, workforce development. These should not be treated as separate ideas anymore. They should be integrated, they should be templated, and they should be repeatable across this country. And they should be designed to support the people in the country at the same time. That is the next layer of the spine. Once you understand what the colors mean, the next question becomes, what can we build along those lines? And that is where the opportunity opens up. Along the spine, we can build templated food production facilities in small, medium, and large models. We can build templated recycling facilities that turn old materials into new materials, components. We can build templated, beautiful houses, systems that are more durable and resilient than concrete houses ever were, and give people shelter with dignity and respect. We can build bioenergy facilities that turn organic waste into biogas, heat, fertilizer, and plant nutrients. We can build evolution nodes where people do more than survive. They live, work, train, grow food, maintain infrastructure, and help rebuild the country. We can create a system where trash becomes energy, where waste becomes fertilizer, where water creates food opportunity, where recycled materials become housing, where movement creates power, where infrastructure creates jobs, where poor communities are not pushed aside, but built directly into the operating system of the future. With dignity, though. I never understood why a poor community had to look poor if we're a rich country. Some of these ideas may not be popular yet. Some people may not be used to thinking this way, and I understand. It's hard to break your programming. It's hard to break your programming. Go ahead and say it to yourself. It's hard to break my programming, Chris. I can't do it. I can't see nothing else other than what I'm seeing now. But that doesn't mean that they are impossible. It means that they need structure. They need standards. They need testing. They need leadership. They need a template. And that is the point. We are not just building random things along. I'm not just building random things along the spine. I'm creating repeatable systems. That the same way the map connects the country, the facilities along the map must connect to purpose. Food production connects water. Water connects energy. Energy connects mobility. Mobility connects work. Work connects housing. Housing connects dignity. Dignity connects stability. Stability connects opportunity. That is what's next. This is what the next section is about. Not the colors themselves, but the benefit from those colors unlock. So now that you understand the map, let's talk about what the spine can actually do. Let's talk about food production along the spine. Let's talk about biogas. Let's talk about metamaterials and now the new plastic life cycle. Let's talk about reforestation, wildlife, land recovery, California fire control, and maintenance as a national culture. Let's talk about how this stops being just a map and becomes a way to build America from the inside out. Now we get to food, because wherever water goes, food can follow. That is one of the most powerful ideas inside this whole map, because I truly believe that if the lights go off for 2 months, we're going to have a real serious, for 2 months, for consistently for over 2 months, we're going to have a serious problem as it relates to foods. That means enclosed solar facilities, aquaponic systems, fish tanks, poultry modules, root crop racks, leafy greens, sweet potatoes, herbs, seedlings, emergency food reserve. This is not old school indoor farming where every plant depends on artificial tight light all day long. This is controlled solar agriculture. Natural sunlight during the day, supplemental light when needed. AI monitored water, AI monitored humidity, AI monitored plant growth, AI monitored fish systems, AI monitored poultry systems. The spine does not place random farms along the route. It creates standardized, repeatable food production facilities built from metamaterials. These facilities can be designed in small, medium, and large templates depending on population, location, water, access, and production needs. Because the facilities are templated. Training becomes standardized. Operations become easier to teach. Maintenance becomes easier to manage. Replacement parts become predictable. Growth cycle becomes repeatable. Workers can move from one facility to another, already understand the system, and they have a job description now. Water purifier, plant cleaner, whatever the hell you want to call it. Communities can be built faster with more consistency. I'll also make the homeless housing connection stronger. Along the spines, these templated systems create a survival and opportunity network. Templated homes, templated recycling facilities, templated controlled solar farming facilities, steady freshwater access, local energy, food production, and unilevel transportation. That gives people more than shelter. It gives them a functioning environment where they can live, work, train, move, and rebuild. The key phrase I'll build around is we are not just building along the spine. We are tempting survival, dignity, training. We are templating survival, dignity, training, food, housing, and opportunity into the spine itself. Why? Because the new goal is to grow more food with less space, fewer chemicals, less seasonal dependency, and more local control. I'm not saying traditional farming disappears. Farmers still have the land, and land matters. But the future of food cannot depend only on seasons, weather, drought, food, chemicals, long distance trucking, and those systems that are becoming more fragile every year. We need a new layer of food production. We need to get out of the mindset that seasons alone could control how we feed people. That may be nostalgic, that may be traditional, but the future has to be more resilient than that. The land is still valuable. The farmer is still valuable. But the question becomes, how do we use land smarter? Some land can grow food traditionally. Some land can support controlled food facilities. Some land can recover. Some land can be reforested. Some land can support wildlife. Some land can support water storage. Some land can support solar. Some land can support housing. Some land can finally breathe again. That is the smarter food future. Now, here's where the food system becomes even more powerful. Every controlled food facility creates organic waste, plant waste, food scraps, poultry manure, food processing waste, crop refuse, community food waste. In the old model, waste is a problem. In the spine model, waste becomes an input. That is where biogas comes in. Each ELE-VOLUTION node or push style community can include a bioenergy waste conversion facility. That facility can take approved organic waste and convert it into biogas, heat, hot water, fertilizer, digestate, and plant nutrients. Think about it. Trash can become energy. Food waste can become fuel. Poultry manure can become heat. Plant refuse can become fertilizer input. Organic waste can become part of the energy cycle. Instead of just moving trash into landfills, we can begin distributing selected organic waste to bioenergy facilities along the spine. Not trash as garbage, trash as energy feedstock. That changes the equation. The community that used to be seen as poor or dependent can become a producer of food, energy, fertilizer, and materials. That is why structure matters. We need the facilities. We need the standards. We need the safety controls. We need the separation between raw waste and food systems. We need testing. We need filtration. We need digesters. We need odor control. We need AI monitoring. We need training operators. But if we build that structure correctly, it is a win-win. Food is produced, waste is reduced, energy is generated, plant nutrients are created, communities gain work, and the system becomes more self-sustaining. Keyword, self-sustaining. This is not just farming. This is a circular food energy system, and it fits perfectly along the spine. Now, I know some of you get little crazy when I start talking about plastics and what I'm really talking about is metamaterials. And I use that word for a reason because plastic is a bad word today because of how irresponsibly we used it in the past. We make it, use it, throw it away, bury it, burn it, dump it, let it enter rivers, oceans, animals, food systems, and eventually ourselves. That is not just a material problem. That is a life cycle problem. That is a failure by design. The spine changes that logic. Recycling facilities along the route would not simply collect waste, they would become manufacturing centers. They will convert recycled materials into stronger engineered components, metamaterial panels, advanced composites, structural parts, housing systems, farm components, aquaponic tanks, poultry modules, solar integrated roofs, clear controlled organic panels, water infrastructure, spine replacement parts, offshore platform components, OceanCore structural skins. This is how plastic stops being waste and starts becoming a resource. But I want to be clear. We cannot be careless about this. If we're going to engineer plastic-based materials into metamaterials, we have to solve the safety issues, microplastics, leaching, heat breakdown, chemical exposure, long-term durability, water contact, food system contact, weathering, fire performance, human health, environmental safety. So for those of you that want to chime in and continue to state the obvious, the problems are stated up front as issues that we have to address up front. Those issues are real. So the research has to be serious. Maybe certain materials need coatings. Maybe some need glass encapsulation. Maybe some need heat treatment. Maybe not, some need to be mixed with other materials. Maybe some need to be sealed inside composite layers. Maybe some should only be used in structured areas and not in direct food or water contact. That is exactly why this has to be engineered, not guessed, not thrown together, engineered, tested, certified, improved, then repeated. The goal is not to keep making trash. The goal is to take what's already becoming a national burden and build safer, stronger, and smarter life cycle forward. In my vision, these materials help build homes, beautiful homes, durable homes, energy efficient homes, homes that can better resist flood, wind, heat, impact, and decay. The same material systems build the farms, build the recycling facilities, build the spine, build OceanCore, and build the offshore platforms. The goal is simple. Stop being buried by waste. Start building with it. Once fresh water is available along the trail, I'm almost done, people, so bear with me. I apologize. I know this is long, but you know what? It needs to be said. Once fresh water is available along the strategic corridors, everything changes. Now we can think about reforestation differently. We can think about dead areas differently. We can think about dry areas differently. We can think about forgotten land differently. If we map water movement correctly, we can support green corridors. We can restore damaged areas. We can support controlled agriculture. We can rebuild ecosystems. We could create fire breaks. We could recreate shade zones. We could create new national, excuse me, we could create maintenance jobs around land stewardship. We can even imagine producing enough food and plant material that we could support wildlife restoration more intelligently. Preposition feed in hard seasons, support buffalo population, support salmon restoration, support habitat repair, support forest regeneration, support water restoration, support land that has been abused, stripped, dried out, or forgotten. The spine is not just about moving water to cities. It's about using water intelligently to reshape the future of the land. That means forest management, water placement, controlled burn support, fire defense planning, replanting, soil recovery, local work crews, environmental monitoring, tourism access, people getting outside again. That is how infrastructure becomes restoration. I'm almost done, people. Now we move to the red lines in California. And I put this on here just to give you an idea. I came up, but after putting the spine together, I said, you know what? If I can connect to water, I can do just about anything I want to. And that's when I came up. And then I started looking at the power lines along, the power lines we currently have. You go down, you're driving around, you look around, and you see the power lines, you see this big open space of power lines. I'm like, what? And that's all it's doing is moving power. I said, okay. So I said, I said this would be a time to highlight one of the most unique opportunities inside the spine concept, because what started as part of MAP, like I said, opened my mind completely to new invention in fire control. And this is important because I do not want people to look at these red lines and think they are just marks on a page. They are not. They represent a new way of thinking about wildfire defense. And I even made a video about this too. Land access, water deployment, and remote stewardship. Because once you have a national water backbone, you're no longer limited to thinking about water as something that only comes from a hydrant, a reservoir, or a last minute emergency response. Wherever the spine carries water, it creates new possibilities. And in California, that possibility becomes fire control infrastructure. The red line represents fire control corridors, a unique use of the spine where water, rail movement, solar power, and land management come together. But I want to push this vision even further. I want you to imagine something. Right now, when you look across those sections of forest and mountain terrain, you often see those clear corridors where power lines run. We already have accepted the idea that land can be cut and shaped to make way for infrastructure. Now imagine taking that same basic corridor concept, but instead of it being only for power transmission, it comes a fire control corridor. Imagine a unirail system running through that cleared corridor, not just a single line, but a three-part system, almost like a miniature version of the spine itself. Two lower rail routes move back and forth along the corridor. Then above them is a third upper track, a top rail designed to carry a building scale mobile water cannon platform. And in the middle of that system runs the pipeline, the water source, the life source, the reason the whole corridor becomes powerful. Now you do not just have access, you do not just have movement, you do not just have water. You have all three working together. This mobile water cannon platform can move up and down the corridor where needed, when needed. In my mind, this is not some small attachment. This is a serious piece of equipment. Building scale, purpose-built, capable of projecting hundreds of gallons of water at a time over a great distance in support of wildfire suppression and land defense. When the system is not actively responding to fire, it's not wasted. It stands ready. It collects solar energy. It monitors conditions. It supports maintenance. It provides access into remote terrain. It becomes a permanent defensive layer. And did I mention that it has drones at the top, hooked up to new age type pipe water lines that can go out to at least a mile or so and saturate the forest area? I put 5 on each side of the rail. And these are new type drones, which I also have designs for too, that allow them to go out and be pulled in and make sure that they don't get interlocked. This is not traditional firefighting. This is fire control infrastructure, a permanent system designed to divide vulnerable land into manageable zones, create access pathways, support emergency response, and buy firefighters time before fires become uncontrollable. But that is only the beginning. We can dream up a lot. These fire corridors no longer just a fire line, they become a defensive web, a living suppression system, a moving water backbone with arms. A cannon covers the main corridor, the tethered drones extend the reach, the system saturates key zones fast, and that to me is the future of fire control, not just for the forest, not just for California, but potentially for structures, urban fire response, industrial zones, any place we want to reduce the need to consistently put human beings directly in most dangerous parts of the fire. Imagine one of these fire lines going down the middle of a city, above a city, a rail system that can go anywhere in the city to take a water suppression anywhere. And that's why I wanted to bring it here, because the spine is not just infrastructure. The spine creates invention. It creates new ways to use water. It creates new ways to protect land. It creates new ways to think. And let's go even further, because wherever water goes, controlled food production goes. Aquaponics farming goes, reforestation goes, maintenance communities can go. Life has a chance to return. That means fire corridors are not just emergency systems. They can also support ELE-VOLUTION nodes along that route, not camps, not old-style projects, not forgotten outposts, but futuristic sustainment points designed to help maintain the corridor, manage forest areas, support controlled solar food production, assist with reforestation, operate water systems, and help people connect to the land, be it Airbnb stations and points. And because the spine is a templated system, these would not be random one-off sites. You could place a small templated recycling facility, a templated controlled solar food facility, a templated housing units along these routes, all built from metamaterials, all supported by steady water access, all connected by the Unirail and the broader spine system. The Unirail becomes more than a corridor for fire response. It becomes a supply path. It becomes a maintenance path. It becomes a people path. It becomes a line that allows remote locations to stay supplied, stay active, and stay connected. And now the opportunity expands again. These locations could support maintenance crews. They could support forest management workers. They could support reforestation teams. They could support environmental researchers. They could support food production for both humans and animals in a time of drought and cold. They could support remote living for people who actually want to spend time connected to the land. They could even support a new kind of public use of government-managed lodging model. Small remote homes, scenic stays, stewardship retreats, tourism-linked sustainability hubs, and monitored natural reserve locations where people can go stay, work, learn, and reconnect with the country. Think about that. You're not just defending the forest anymore. You're activating it. You're protecting it. You're managing it. You open it responsibly. You're turning infrastructure into stewardship. And that is a large lesson here. California is simply the first place where the problem is obvious enough for people to see why this matters. But this concept is bigger than California. Anywhere wildfire risks exist, this idea has potential. Anywhere remote land needs better access, this idea has potential. Anywhere water can be moved strategically, this idea has potential. I say all this to say the opportunities are endless if we start thinking this way. If we start looking at infrastructure not as isolated equipment, but as platforms for layered solutions. If we start looking at water not just as supply, but as possibility. If we start looking at land not just as territory, but as something to be healed, defended, and lived with more intelligently. That is what these red lines mean to me. They are not just part of the spine. They show what the spine can become. And once the spine exists, every line of water becomes a line of response possibility. Now let's talk about this is the last thing I'm going to talk about before I close up, guys, so just bear with me. Let's talk about something America does not do well enough, and that's called maintenance. We love building new things. We love ribbon cuttings. We love announcements. We love big promises, but we do not maintain enough. We wait until the bridges fail. We wait until water systems break. We wait until power grids overload. We wait until loads crumble. We wait until fires explode. We wait until people suffer. Then we act shocked. That's not leadership. That's reaction. A serious country maintains itself. A serious country inspects. A serious country upgrades. A serious country trains people to keep systems alive. A serious country does not wait until everything is falling apart and then ask why it costs so much to fix. We say we are the best, fine. Then let's act like it. Let's stop talking about greatness and start building systems worthy of greatness. Because greatness is not a slogan. Greatness is maintenance. Greatness is discipline. Greatness is planning. Greatness is execution. Greatness is not waiting for disaster before doing what should have been done years ago. The spine creates a maintenance culture because the people living along it help sustain it. That is the point of the ELE-VOLUTION Nodes. They are not just communities, they are sustainment points. They have responsibility points. They are training points. They are production points. They are living infrastructure. The spine is not just something built for people. It is something maintained by people. That is how you create ownership. Now that you've seen the spine, look at the map again and not just see the lines. See a body beginning to function. See water moving like blood. See transportation moving like muscles. See data and AI operating like a nervous system. See food production becoming nourishment. See recycling becoming regeneration. See the desert start to turn green along the spine. See the ELE-VOLUTION nodes becoming the hands and feet that maintain the system. See fire corridors becoming the immune system, protecting the land before disaster spreads. See housing become dignity. See movement become opportunity. See maintenance become culture. See America not as a collection of disconnected emergencies, but as one living system that can finally start healing itself. This is the picture. We start with the ugly truth because we have to be honest, but we do not have to end there. We end with what we can build. We end with water. We end with food. We end with shelter. We end with mobility. We end with restoration. We end with a country that stops abusing itself and starts caring for itself. That is the spine. Listen, I know I'm not the only one out there thinking like this. I know I'm not the only one who feels there has to be something better. I get it. People are busy. People are tired. You're trying to work. You're trying to raise children, trying to figure out what school or child should go to, trying to figure out where the next meal is coming from, trying to stay healthy, trying to afford a doctor, trying to keep a roof over your head, trying to survive another week in a country that keeps telling you everything is fine while you can feel that it's not. I understand that. And honestly, this kind of planning should be in the realm of leadership. This should be the work of people we vote for. But part of the problem is that we keep putting people in office who tell us what they are going to do, and then they don't do it. And too often we accept it because we think we do not have options. But we do have options. One of those options is to stop showing up empty-handed. Show up with a plan. Show up with something real. Show up with something to say. Show up and say, support this, study this, push this forward, create a bill, hold hearings, fund feasibility studies, bring in engineers, bring in water experts, bring in transportation experts, bring in energy experts, bring in environmental experts, bring in housing experts, bring in the people who can test it, challenge it, improve it, and help to build it. That is what I'm asking. Not blind belief, not empty applause, not political worship. I don't need none of that. Action. Take this plan and push it forward. Put it in front of city councils, put it in front of mayors, put it in front of governors, put it in front of members of Congress, put it in front of universities, put it in front of engineers, put it in front of investors, put it in front of people who claim they want to lead, and then make them answer a simple question. If not this, then what is your plan? Because every state can benefit from this. Every region can benefit from this. Every community can benefit from a country that moves water better, grows food smarter, builds housing stronger, uses waste more intelligently, creates energy at every possible point, and gives people real work maintaining the nation they live in. We're in dark times, super dark times. A lot of people are looking backwards. A lot of people are trying to drag this country backwards. But somebody has to look forward. Somebody has to imagine the next America. Somebody has to ask this country should become if we stop patching failure and started designing success. That is what the spine is. It's not the final answer. It's the beginning, a framework, a national backbone, a way to start unifying efforts across this country. Not around party, not around personality, not around slogans, but around work, around water, food, housing, energy, transportation, maintenance, restoration, opportunity. The spine gives us a framework. The ELE-VOLUTION Nodes gives us human support system. The metamaterial recycling facilities give us building engine. The controlled solar farms gives us a food security. The bioenergy units turn waste into power. Offshore platforms gives us water. OceanCore gives us a smarter path for AI infrastructure. The Hyperloop gives us another way to move. Fire corridors gives us a new way to defend the land. And the people give it purpose. We can keep going backwards, or we can build forward. I choose forward. I choose elevation. I choose evolution. I choose the ELE-VOLUTION. Well, let's start the plan. Let's unify the effort. Let's get the right people in the room. Let's build something worthy of a country we keep claiming to be.
Now that you know the plan, it's time to stand. Join the evolution for the solution. Join the evolution for the solution. A vision, no wishing. Let's spread integrity through the land by giving a helping hand. Pass the word and embrace the vision. A new America, a new mission. Join the evolution, 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 for the solution. Keep the light, keep the fire, America we inspire. We got to fight, fight, fight for our rights day and night. For the solution, join the evolution. For the solution, join the evolution. For the solution, join the evolution, join the evolution, join the evolution. A vision. No.